afternoon, everybody. I think we've got a whole bunch of the executioners over here this morning, if I can put it that way. Welcome to you in the media. I've gotten a bit of a cold, so I will soldier on here, and I hope it doesn't bother you too much. But I'm very excited about the topic today. We're talking here today about the innovative use of data. As you all know from reading the paper from time to time, private business here and there and everywhere is latching on to more sophisticated sets of data and figuring out ways to market and to do a whole bunch of things better, more cheaply, more efficiently. And they believe they're going to continue along that pathway for a long time to come. And I believe that too. The bottom line is that data drives new opportunities to improve results. I think we all can hopefully start from that unified premise. What Works Cities is a national movement that brings this concept basically to the government level. It was started by former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg back in 2014, and I think it represents probably the largest philanthropic effort to enhance the use of data and the use of evidence and decision-making in the public sector. Today, I'm proud to announce that Lincoln has been chosen to join the ranks of 54 other U.S. cities that have been chosen to demonstrate how government can work better through these uses of data. And these are the 54, they picked 54 cities now to work with in the effort. It's an honor and a tribute to our city's hard work overall these last few years to create a performance-driven government. What Works Cities gives us access to world-class experts. That's the big thing about it in the fields of performance management and in the field of open data. Their expertise will help us build on the original performance management and data systems Lincoln has already established through our Taking Charge process. Taking Charge has helped us set community priorities, it's helped us establish goals, and it's helped us use data sets to measure success as we develop the city's budget. But our use of data obviously shouldn't end when the budget book is printed. Data is an important tool for driving the day-to-day management of the city and instilling accountability for results in all government activities. Improving the use of data will identify new directions for city policy. It will help us become more efficient, more effective, and more transparent. In the next 4 months, over that period of time, What Works Cities experts will work closely with our city team here in Lincoln and on the telephone in a variety of ways to build an open data portal and an enhanced performance management system. These efforts will give the public better access to Lincoln's data, and it will give the city's management team better tools to analyze problems and find innovative solutions. We live, as you know, in an era of constrained resources where governments are constantly seeking to stretch every dollar further while still providing the services that enhance our quality of life. The use of data is likely to offer bold new insights that will help City Hall deliver even better services more efficiently. Taking advantage of What Works City's world-class expertise, requires a local team approach with strong city leadership involved. City Council members Larry and Gaylord Baird and Trent Fellers are helping to guide that team. They have already put us on the road by making Lincoln's data more useful and more transparent. Their resolution to implement an open data program set an important policy direction, thank you, and is the authorization on which what works cities will build. In fact, it was Lyrian who discovered the work being done by Great Works Cities and urged us to apply and take advantage of the opportunity to improve city government. And by doing that, she put us on the path to greater success, and we thank you for that big tip and the work you've done on it. Two members of my administration's leadership team will guide the two different scopes of work involved, and senior management from a number of the departments will also be lending their talent to the project's success. My Chief of Staff, Rick Hoppe, will lead our performance management scope of work with What Works Cities. Rick has led our administration's performance management efforts from the beginning. He developed our Taking Charge budget process and works with state and local governments quite a bit over the last few years on the principles involved with performance management. And I think Lyrian's going to talk about the city staff member we tapped to lead the city's open data scope of work in just a minute here. Let me just conclude by reminding you that we all need not to flinch from taking a good, hard look at ourselves, at our organization. We should never be afraid to challenge the status quo and seek new ways to do our jobs better. It's a philosophy that has served the city well, the city management team well, the city itself well over the past 9 years. As we have consistently received national accolades for our various successes. What Works Cities affords us a tremendous opportunity to better assess what we see in the mirror and provides us the tools we need to create an even more successful future. So I am very much looking forward to what the administration and the City Council can accomplish together. And with that, Lyrian, tell us more.
Good morning, everybody. Well, late one night, back in the summer of 2015, I sat on a stool in my kitchen, working on my laptop to fire off that initial application that Mayor Beitler mentioned for Lincoln to become a What Works Cities. And getting that application submitted just before the midnight deadline seemed crucial because here was a chance to get world-class consulting that could help streamline our city government and make us more efficient and effective for free. That seemed like a great value and the perfect way for Lincoln to do more with less. Fast forward to today, when our city, after a lengthy and careful selection process, has earned a designation as a What Works City. This collaboration with Bloomberg Philanthropies gives us a fantastic opportunity to further shift our city government's culture towards data-driven decision-making and results. I'm particularly excited about how this collaboration will enhance our city's open data initiative. What Works Cities supports open data efforts by providing technical assistance with things like data inventory and by sharing best practices from other communities so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll utilize their expertise to help make our city's data more accessible to the public and across city departments, to engage residents around city services and priorities, and to increase transparency and accountability. I'm hopeful that before too long, we'll have success stories to share like Louisville, Kentucky, where their open data efforts have led to a reduction in asthma attacks among city residents and dramatic improvements in the timeliness of restaurant inspections. I'm pleased to announce today that Mayor Beitler is appointing Public Safety Director Tom Cassidy to lead the open data scope of work with What Works Cities. Tom has a reputation around Lincoln and across the country for his use of data and analysis to guide decision-making, and he frequently represents Lincoln as both an instructor and a presenter nationwide. And he has a track record of deploying data and applications both internally and to the public. Thank you, Tom, so much for your leadership with this. I'm looking forward to working with Tom, with the administration, with city staff, and with my colleague Trent Fellers, because we all have a common goal of enhancing our city's ability to define, utilize, and solve problems using data. Lincoln is incredibly fortunate to be a What Works city. This is the right partnership at the right time for our community. Standing here today, I'm thrilled to be a small part of it, and looking back, I can attest that that late night over a year and a half ago was well worth the lost sleep. And I'm certain that everyone at the city who has since that time put in a lot of hours and time and energy into making our application as a city successful feels the same way. Thank you.
Thank you. Trent, anxious to hear your perspective.
I don't know if I'll do that well, but I'm pleased that Lincoln's been chosen as a What Works city, and to start implementing this open data policy that we put forward this summer. Having access to more information not only helps public policymakers, but it also allows public to communicate with us on issues at a more granular level. Hopefully we'll see better decisions made because this data is more public, and drive new ways of thinking about problems and issues. In business, data drives decision making, and government shouldn't be any different. Open data should establish a culture in our city of government thinking about what data we collect and how we can publish it in a meaningful way so that it can be used by the public. This new open data policy and the work of this committee, and also the work of What Works Cities, may someday down the road, somebody might pick up some idea that comes out of this and use it to move the city forward, maybe in a new policy way, maybe creating a new business. But I think that's the most interesting thing about this entire policy is the unknowns of what we're doing now, the unknowns of putting this data out there, knowing that someday somebody might pick it up and do something with it, and I think that's the coolest thing about it. This data is also, while we're putting it out there as a public entity and as government, it's already owned by the people, so we should put it out there and let them see it and let them analyze it and help us do our jobs better. So thank you. Thank you.
And at this point, I want to invite our scope of work leaders to come up and have Tom Cassidy and Rick Hoppe come on up here and tell us a little bit more about how they'll be starting out in their respective areas, and who wants to be first?
Rick does. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Tom. Good afternoon. Data not only helps us identify community challenges, it can provide a roadmap to solving problems. And the goal of performance management is to teach city staff to better analyze data, improve accountability, and develop that roadmap to drive better performance throughout the organization. That's what my team will be working on the next few weeks, and they're all here. So we got a great time ahead of us, working very hard over the next 4 months, and I know we'll accomplish a lot for the city. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you for putting this challenge before me, and Larry, and thank you for those kind words. I appreciate it. My job is going to be to bring a group of people together to form a governance committee for open data in Lincoln, and it'll be the work of that group to decide how we move forward. The City of Lincoln makes a tremendous amount of information and data available now. The difference with the concept of open data is deploying that data in a way that other people can use to build their own applications or do their own analysis. I think it's very exciting. I've had the opportunity in the past couple of weeks to network with a lot of people around the country who are doing similar work. I'm very excited about what I've seen. I think it's got a great potential for really creating a more dynamic environment here in Lincoln where citizens and entrepreneurs can use our data to do really good things that may even help the city do its job more effectively. So very much looking forward to it. There are several people here in the room who I'll probably be tapping on the shoulder in the coming week, asking to participate with me in this, and it's going to be an exciting time here in Lincoln.
All right, what questions can we answer for you, or try to?
How long does this process work? I mean, is this for 4 months, or is it for 14 months? Or?
The scope of work is for 120 days. It started October 7th. What Works Cities does put a time frame on this so the engagement is not never ending. But once you complete that scope of work, there are other scopes of work that we may want to actually take up. So this isn't the end at the end of 120 days. We can choose to do more scopes of work with What Works Cities.
And what do you think, if we were paying for this, what do you think it would cost?
Consultants don't come cheap. I'd hazard a guess, just from our experience that we've done, this is probably hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work being given to us for free.
Any particular reason Lincoln was selected among the cities that are utilizing this program?
Do you want to take that one?
Well, I think Tom touched on it. There is already so much good work being done to make decisions using data, and I think they saw the potential for us to go even further with that. And they met with city staff who completed lengthy surveys and provided a lot of information about their priorities and how they perform their work. And they saw a lot of great material to work with. So I think it's a real credit to the city staff that they went ahead and chose Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, in short, because we're the most progressive city in the United States.
Question for Tom. I've been impressed with what you've done with databases related to crime and those kinds of things, put them in the hands of police as they move around the city. Do you see similar applications for the city with other data?
I do. Randy, we get lots and lots of requests for public safety data from the news media, lots of reporters, members of the public, students, and we're always willing to accommodate those to the extent that we can. It's quite time consuming in some cases, though. So if we can get that data out there in a machine readable format that people can serve themselves, we know that that will save some of our staff time. And I've been very impressed with some of the things I've seen people do with open data around the country. We've got a young man here in Lincoln that did an incredible analysis of bicycle accidents in Lincoln, and he did it the hard way by screen scraping information from the police department's website. Unfortunately, he never asked me for the data. I would have helped him assemble that and maybe saved him a little bit of that work. But I think there are lots of opportunities out there for people to use our open data to answer questions, do analysis, and maybe even to help us improve our own services.
Are there any other kind of concrete examples from other communities of what happened besides the two that were in the
I think there are a number of different examples, and they go across a broad variety of departmental efforts. In Mesa, Arizona, for example, they were having trouble gaining political consensus with respect to what were their most blighted areas and where should they do the most work first, that sort of thing. They started putting together crime statistics and blighted homes, building violation statistics, all these things related to, I think also blighting buildings, what's the word I'm looking for? Graffiti statistics even. Putting together all these data banks and looking at how a neighborhood worked in light of all these different indicators. And they were able to develop a political consensus for moving ahead in particular areas at particular times with neighborhood improvement programs. One example. You guys may have others.
The one that gets a lot of attention in the What Works Cities circles is what happened in New Orleans. New Orleans really struggled after Katrina, even a decade later, to remove blighted properties. They had a considerable backlog, I believe about 1,500 properties, and the data analysis helped them eliminate that backlog and eliminate 15,000 blighted properties in their communities in just under 5 years, which is an extraordinary achievement. And data and performance management played key roles in making that happen. And What Works Cities was integral in helping them start the Blight Stat program that was the foundation of their efforts.
I had a very good example late last week. I was participating in the web conference with the White House Open Police Data Initiative. And during that web conference, I learned that in New Orleans, an entrepreneur had gathered open data information from the New Orleans Police Department about traffic tickets and created an incredible tool that helps to analyze that data for signs of racial profiling. We have been working on similar work here in Lincoln. It's very tedious, time-consuming, difficult, basically requires PhD statisticians. And this tool allowed me to upload 45,000 traffic tickets from 2015 and run a test for racial profiling in a matter of moments. So it was a great example of how someone in the private sector gathered data and created a very useful tool that other departments around the country can use.
You know, to me, Nancy, probably the greatest benefit of open data and the greatest benefit actually of both of these scopes of works, performance indicators, are that it makes more possible the convergence of public consensus with respect to the nature and degree of any particular problem. And so moving decision-making away from the world of emotion to the world of logic, and hopefully in doing that, making our money go further and be spent wisely where it will do the most good at any particular point in time. All right, anything else?
I do have two quick favors. We're going to take some photos of the speakers this morning with the banner. And then if all of you can stick around afterwards, we'll take a group shot with the banner after that.
Do you want the reporters too?
With Nancy right